Christian Van Buren here, co-founder of Ripple Effect Fatherhood. So tonight or today, whatever time zone you're in watching this, I am, as always, super excited about this interview. I actually met this gentleman recently. My wife and I, like I told you guys, moved to Taylor, Texas, and we had the pleasure of meeting our guest today and his family. And I just want to say that we have been nothing short of blessed by just being able to know them, but also just being able to live, because they're our neighbors, by the way. So being able to live close to them, but also just having their positive presence in our lives. And so with that being said, the father of that household is somebody that I was really looking forward to getting on here, just because he's somebody that inspires me as a father, and I've only known him for a short time. However, I've learned a lot about him already. And, you know, I'm just excited to share his perspective on fatherhood and what it means to him with all of you guys. So without further ado, Mr. Adam Sanchez, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing tonight? My name is Adam Sanchez, like Christian said. I am a lifelong Taylor resident. I was born and raised here in Taylor. Taylor's a great community to live in. It was a pleasure to meet Chris and his wife and their son. So looking forward to having many years here as, like you said, my next door neighbor, and sharing in this journey together. So it's very exciting times right now here in Taylor.
Amen.
For sure.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you for that, man. I'm excited for what we're gonna do here.
Yes, sir.
There's just so much opportunity, and at the end of the day, well, we'll get into the youth and stuff like that, but I'm just excited for what's to come, because
yeah, for sure,
the beginning, you know. But okay, cool. So real quick, Adam, if you want to give a shout out to, so Adam, you're real quick before we get started. Sorry, you're a father of 3, right?
Yes, father of 3, and my nephew, who we took in as this is about his freshman year in high school. So he came in and moved in with us. So you know, consider him. You know, we told him when he's coming in, he's going to be one of the family. You know, so he's going to get treated just like any one of my kids. So yeah, so really a father of 4. And yeah, so my oldest, my daughter, she's a Marine. She's a United States Marine. And then I have my nephew. He's a soldier, a U.S. soldier. And then I have a teenager and a preteen. So yeah, so kind of have a large gap between the first and last one there. So yeah.
Got your hands full.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I mean, they have an outstanding role model. So
thank you.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought up your nephew, because that was an important piece that I actually by accident left out in the beginning, but I know how important he is to y'all's family. So I'm definitely going to ask you about him as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But okay, perfect. So let me ask you, Adam, and this is, you know, just for the people out there, definitely the generic question I like to ask everybody. What is the best part of fatherhood to you?
Oh man, the best part of fatherhood for me is just being a part of my kids' life, watching them grow up into the person that they're going to become. I can guide them as much as I can, and give them as, you know, as much advice as I can. But at the end of the day, they're going to do what they're going to do. So I just hope that our advice and guidance has molded them to make good decisions. But just seeing that process from when they're born to, for example, my daughter, how she's a young adult, right? So seeing everything that she's done, all the decisions she made, that's the most rewarding part, seeing them go out and doing their own thing.
Man, okay. I really like that. And as you were speaking, it kind of made me think about something in the like military terms, right? So like you said, you mentioned how, you know, they're going to be who they become, and you just hope that your advice and the stuff that you teach them guides them to, you know, just being somebody that they can be proud of, essentially, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so what I think of is like, whenever I you know, we do this thing called land navigation in the military, and basically they give us a map, right? And with that map, you have different points that you got to go find in the
Right.
woods, in the just middle woods. And so you can either use the map to go find those points, right? The map that they give you, or you can just figure it out on your own, right? And so that's what I look at your what fatherhood means to you is you want to be that map for them. Like, hey, I want to show you how to get there. You're going to do what you want to do. I mean,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, I hope to be that map, that
You
guide.
know what? Oh my, that's perfect, right? So especially for how I'll put it out there, right? Um, I was the person who didn't use the map. I went out there and did what I did. I went around the map. I did everything but what the map told me, right? But now, that created who I am. To have all this, experience, these lifelong lessons that I learned along the way. But I use that as part of the map, right? Creating maps and telling my kids, hey, I've been there. This is what I did. Bypass this or go this way. So yeah, for sure, man. That's awesome.
Man, okay, that's amazing. I love it. And that's just something that you get to teach them based on your own experience.
Yes, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. I love that. So, with that being said, you and I talked about volunteering in the community. And so, specifically as it relates to the youth in Taylor, why do you think it's so important to volunteer your time to the youth programs here in Taylor, Texas?
For me, for just being a lifelong resident of Taylor, being that kid who didn't have anybody to look up to or anybody to talk to, right? It's kind of, some kids are just there, they're out there wandering on their own, kind of lost, right? So you'll see it, as you talk to these different kids, there's kids they're in many different pieces of life right now, many stages of life right now. So if you can just talk to one, whether they look up to you for what you've done, your career that you've done, or can relate to a story that you tell them, something you've been through, right? You're able to, and it's like everybody says, right? As long as you get to one person, right? But just being out there and helping and giving back. So our community's small, right? There's kids out there that need us as mentors, role models, just somebody to talk to. Even if it's just about the basketball game last night or a football game or a baseball game, whatever it is, just something so they can talk to get their mind out of whatever else is going on in their life.
Yeah, you know what? And that's powerful that you say that. Because one thing that I've learned personally, I guess, is that like you never know what somebody has to deal with at home, right?
Yes.
Has to
Yep.
deal with from their past. And so I love that you bring that up, that just being that little spark of positivity in their life helps them it allows them to take their mind off of maybe what they deal with at home, or what kind of haunts them from their past, whatever the case may
Yep.
be. And and that's just the goal. And then also you brought up being able to impact at least one person, and that's something that we definitely love about the name Ripple Effect, and just what we're trying to do is impact at least one person, because if you impact that one person and they go tell somebody else, and that person goes and tells somebody else, then you've actually impacted a multitude of people.
And it happens, man. I've seen it happen where for example, me, I tell my story, you see that effect on that one person, and it kind of just, you hurt on one side for them because you know exactly what they're going through, right? But you see that you feel blessed because you're able to help, and you become as another person that they can talk to, or hopefully eventually trust and depend on, and help get them out of this stage and onto the next stage of their life. So it's great. Yeah.
Man, I love that. So any of you fathers out there, or father figures, anybody filling that fatherhood role, just know that you making it a point to be a positive light in somebody's life, especially your kids, that carries on into the lives of others, and then into the lives of others. And so it's important. It's huge.
Absolutely. It
And
is.
yeah, just like you said, I mean, it makes a big impact and a big change. So, man, I love that. Okay, So as someone like yourself who had to overcome so much adversity, are there any positive lessons that you learned that made you feel, or I'm sorry, that you feel made you a better father?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. I think the route my life took, right? There were a lot of positive, let's call them positive lessons, right? Things that I learned that learned of really mostly what not to do with your kids, right? On how not to treat your family. You
Mhm.
know, those were very, consistent reminders of that. Just helped me understand. Say, hey, whenever I'm a father, I can't do that. And then especially after you become a father, those lessons. It's like, yes, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this different, right? So you learn the not tos. I learned the not tos as my lesson firsthand. So that kind of helped me say, okay, there's a lot of ways to do it. I got to go figure that out. I just know I cannot do it this way. So those were
Gotcha.
some of the positive stuff that it did carry on into my from my start as a father, which was very young, right? Which a lot of fathers are. We're very very raw coming into the game, right?
Yeah.
But we learned these things going up, but I already had that in there because I knew, hey, I know how not to act or how not to treat my family. But at the same time, right? You see, growing up without a father myself
Mhm.
and not have anybody really feeling that father figure. I had my great aunt who was more the constant in my life and not actually the father figure.
Mhm.
But my friends who had fathers in their lives, I would see how they were involved in their lives, and those were positive impacts, right? Like you said earlier, how you impact your kids' friends, right? So my friend's father, they were involved on their sports, on academics, everything. So that left a positive impact on, hey, I know now I can put things together, right? I know this is not what to do, but here's some positive influence. I know I can do stuff like this, right? 'Cause this works, right? So then you just start piecing things from every everywhere you go. You see examples. You start piecing them together to help you become as good as a father as you can possibly be. Which is, and I I told you before, is constantly learning as a father. I mean, I don't every day, I told you, I still ask myself, did I do good enough today? What can I do different?
Man.
So yeah.
And I'm taking notes on both, like on my phone and on my little notepad, because
Gotcha.
I definitely want to touch on three things that you said. All of it was great,
Hmm.
but the first thing is you learn the not to the things
Yeah.
not to do, right?
Right. Right.
And so that I think that that's a lesson in itself right there for anybody like yourself, like myself, who either didn't have a father or a father figure at all,
Hmm.
or in my case, dad was there for, in and out for the first few, however 10 years, and then
Hmm. Hmm.
I hadn't seen him for a while. But you take those negatives, those things that you look at as
Yep.
negatives, take those, and instead of just seeing them as negatives, you saw them as lessons. So you flipped it and turned it
Hmm.
into a positive, right? And
Yep.
so I think that that's an important message for anybody that's listening, anybody who's a father, who's about to become a father, and you think that because of your negative experiences, maybe you're not ready for it or you don't know how to do it. You take those negative things that you experienced in your childhood and you use them as your things not to do, like
Yep.
Adam
You
was saying.
you break the cycle, man. That's what
Exactly.
a lot of things. You see the generational similarities. Coming down from the either father not being in the life in your life or whatever it is. But I think you've heard it around other examples, right? You just break the cycle
Yeah.
and you change it going forward. On you live that life, but how do you want your kids to live their life?
Exactly. Man, that's powerful. I love that. And also you said your friends' fathers,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
like, I experienced that myself too, was like when it came to sports and stuff, most of all the sports that I played, all my teammates were males, and their dads were, most of them had their dads present at the games and stuff, and I used to go hang out with them and stuff like
Hmm.
that, see how they interacted with their dads. And so yeah, like I didn't realize, but I think when I was younger, like I would take mental notes, like you
Yep.
said, like putting those pieces together, those
Absolutely.
the pieces of the fatherhood puzzle together, right?
Yes. Yep.
Just made that up on the fly, right? Pieces of the fatherhood puzzle together. And then you just start to, oh yeah, I like, I like that part
Yes.
of their relationship. I want to
Yes.
have that whenever I become a father, right?
Yes. Exactly, man. And it's like at the time you don't know it, but once you become a father, it's like, it just goes off. And it's like, yes, now everything I seen, everything I saw, like all the puzzle pieces, I can put them together now.
Exactly.
So
And then on top of that, you mentioned, because obviously we both know that the whole puzzle isn't there whenever we become
right,
like
right.
we're always going
Yes.
to be missing
Yeah.
pieces, especially when you're really young,
Hmm.
but it's good to know that you have like that, whenever you're putting a puzzle together, you always start with the outsides, right? Or at least I do. I
Yeah.
start with the outsides and then work my way in. And for me, I think that
Yep.
fatherhood puzzle, the stuff that I learned from my friends' fathers was me filling in the borders,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And then once I
Absolutely.
became a father, then I start to fill in the middle.
Yep. Yeah. And it's we can go on and talk about this forever because now that I'm thinking about it, right? I told you
Yeah.
my great aunt was there, and how you just described the outside of the puzzle. Well, her love that she gave us and her protection that she gave us, that's where we can fill out the inside of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
So whether she was whatever role she played in my life, she instilled that part of the caring, the love that we have for our kids.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
You know what? I just thought of a quote. I just thought of a quote for our daily dads on our Instagram page. You know what
Okay.
it is?
Okay. What's
Love,
that?
quote by Mr. Adam Sanchez. Love fills the puzzle.
There you go. There you go, man.
Oh, I love that, man. Love
and
fills
and
the
that's
puzzle.
what's great about this, right? When we're talking about the ripple effect fatherhood, is there still we have a lot of young parents, right? Male and moms and dads out there, but having this to where they can go and lean on and get advice, something that they may not have, it's a great thing for them to have. Because like us, we like I said, we were young. We learned as we went,
Yeah.
right? So having a little more guidance is great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you feel that way. I'm glad that that's your, because I hope that more people feel that way, because like you said, that that's what this is just a
Hmm.
place where people can come and hear some positive dialogue, behind fatherhood or just parenthood in general, right?
Yeah,
Because that
absolutely.
quote
Yep.
right there, love fills the puzzle. Anybody can benefit from that.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? So man, you got me excited. I'm excited for the future, man. I'm excited
Yes.
for the
Absolutely, man.
future.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so before we get, because we could, like you said, we could talk all night
Yeah.
just about
Yep.
that one question.
Yep.
But I definitely want to talk about. I want to ask you some questions more geared towards your little ones, right?
Hmm.
Or I
Hmm.
guess, and we'll call them little ones because they're always going to be your babies, right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. That's for
But
sure.
okay, so let me ask you, describe the emotions that you had when you learned that you would become a brand new father of a baby girl. And I'm sorry, this is a lot, right? But what are you most proud of about her now?
Okay. The emotions I had was I was scared, right? I didn't know how, and this was just I'm gonna call it my dad mind going into action, right?
Mhm.
I didn't know how I was gonna make enough money to support a child, to get out on my own, all the things going on there, right? Like somewhere to live, support, feed, clothe, all that. That's just going through my mind. It's like bam, you know. So that's the one of the first responses I had, first thoughts I had, like, man, of course I was happy, but I think the scared part of just being the provider,
Mhm.
for me, that was the scary part.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm most proud of her is the person she is, the person she has become, right? She's a very strong individual, not just physically, but mentally. She can overcome anything that's put in front of her. Her decision making is very good. she'll call and ask for advice, but she makes her own decisions, and she's usually making very good, sound decisions, thinking through it. So those things make me proud of her about that, right? And it goes back to just hoping we did a good job raising them, because now they're on their own.
Yeah.
I still try to be the dad, and try to say you got to do this, and this, but it's more advice for them, and like I said, their decision making comes into hand and comes into play. But yeah, that's what I'm most proud of her for.
Man, that's amazing. And I know she's just as proud of you as you are of her. And honestly, you said she's a Marine, and I
She is a
mean,
Marine, yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm just saying, like, she's a Marine. That's like my brother was a Marine, and I wasn't in the Marines myself, but I do know that there's a lot of pride behind being a Marine, and it being the toughest boot camp out of all the branches. I mean,
that's what I hear, man. That's what I hear.
that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. But I think
Yeah.
that also speaks to the role models that she had in you and her mother growing up. So that's amazing. Okay, so question just on off the top, since I forgot to put your nephew in here, but okay, so you said you mentioned that you guys took your nephew in. Let me ask you, and this is just like I said, just a question off the top. Like, how much joy do you get? How much joy did you get? I guess describe the joy that you got in being able to fill that fatherhood role for your nephew. And then also, what are you most proud of about him now?
No, it was I was very happy that to be able to do that for him, right? He's of course his parents are alive, but he needed a different set, not a different set of parents, but like a different atmosphere, let's put it like that.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, man, I was very happy to have the opportunity to fill whatever role I filled for him. Excuse me. For being the most proud of him is just his little life journey that he's taken since coming out of high school. He wasn't quite sure whether he was going into the military or not, so he tried he worked for a little bit, then he came back and on his own. He no pressure from anyone. He went to the recruiter, and he joined the U.S. Army. So I was very proud of him for doing that. And he's excelling at it, man. It fits him. That's everything they do fits his who he is. So he's gonna continue excelling there. So I'm very proud of him for everything he's doing in there.
I love it. And I guess one more question about your nephew. Now that he's in the Army, he's an adult, and this will tie into the next question, but what is one piece of advice that you would give your nephew whenever he steps into fatherhood? What's one piece of advice you'd give him?
Just to have patience, right?
Patience.
And if it was just one word advice, is just have patience, right? Throughout the life of your child, because trust me, they're gonna push it, right? They're gonna wear it thin, but as a father, we keep our cool, then we can talk to them.
Yeah.
Male, whether it's our little girls or our little boys, they're gonna test us, but that's where our patience comes into play, man.
Okay, real quick. Let me see. It's funny that you said that, because you said have patience because they're gonna test you, right? I was at Firestone whenever, it was like the day after. I was like, hey, Ripple Effect Fatherhood, I want to do that. And I was just talking to this guy named Drew from Hutto. I haven't spoke to him since. I was just some guy that was there at Firestone. And I asked him for some quotes. I was like, hey, give me your father, right? Give me some fatherhood quotes. His son's in his 40s, you know what I mean? So
gotcha.
Anyway, it was funny that you said have patience because your kids are going to push it. Because he said, his quote was, don't make any decisions while you're angry because they will piss you off.
That's about right, man. That's about right.
Oh, that made me, whenever you said that made me think about his quote.
And a lot of it comes in their mid to late teenage years. They got these hormones just all over out of whack, and they think they're little grown adults.
Man, gosh. So you're telling me to enjoy Kylan while he's 6 months old.
Oh, I bet they're good until about they're 12, and then once they go through a rough patch, and they think they can take you at times.
Oh man.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I gotta make sure I stay ready then for
I tell
him.
you.
All right, cool, perfect. So that question kind of ties into the next question for your son, right? What's one positive piece of advice you would give your son that you wish you could have given your younger self? And what are you most proud of about him now?
What I could, if I could give him an advice that I can give my younger self was just have faith and respect for yourself. Believe in yourself. There's gonna come times where you're gonna doubt what you're doing, but hopefully, like it goes back to hopefully we raised him right, and he makes the right decisions, and just goes with it. Just have faith and believe in yourself, and you'll get whatever you're going through. You'll get through it.
Man, before you tell me what you're most proud of about him, I hope for anyone else out there that struggles with this like I did, I will say that growing up, I had a hard time believing in myself, and I didn't even realize it until I got into adulthood. But I had a hard time believing that I was capable of doing more, like, and especially in sports. And what I will say is, and in one of our other interviews, I talked about how, I feel like God put certain people in my life to fill the fatherhood role at different times. And the one person that really brought belief out of me was my 8th grade travel basketball coach, which his name is Coach Jandrian. He's phenomenal. I still talk to him to this day.
Nice, awesome.
8th grade in like, I don't even, like over 10 years. But
Come
I
on,
still
dude.
talk to him. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to age you over here, man. But I tell you what, like and I don't even know if he knows it, but I tell him all the time though, because I still talk to him. And like that's something that he did for me, is he taught me how to believe in myself, because when I played basketball for him, he pushed us to the I want to say the limit that he knew we were capable of, that we didn't even know we were capable of. And so I guess for anybody out there that may be struggling with that, like you don't believe in yourself, or you have a hard time believing in yourself, your self-confidence is low, for one, I hope that I can impact somebody in that way by helping them to believe in themselves, and that they're capable of doing more. But also, I guess one piece of advice I would give somebody that's struggling with that is, to like you said, Adam, have faith, right? Have faith in yourself, have faith in your abilities, and be willing to, if there's something that you really want to do, then just be willing to trust yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Give yourself to it, right? Like,
yep.
And maybe you can say that better, but I guess that's
no. I mean, and it's hard to put into words, right? But no, I guess you can just go for it. If you want it, go for it. You'll get it done. Don't doubt yourself. You can do it.
Yeah.
And I think that affects a lot of young, especially, young male and females, right? They'll question themselves. Should I go try out for this team? And either way, it's a learning experience, right? You challenged yourself. If you either excelled or you had something to work on, but it's fine. We come back stronger.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. Okay, and then what are you most proud of about your
Oh man, now, I'm proud of so many things about him, especially at his young age. So many things, right? Excuse me, especially with COVID, right? But I think one of the things that sticks out is just his, and I don't know, this could be funny, right? So the way he acts around adults, right? and his kindness, right? So I always told the kids, like, you better act right. Pretend if I'm not there, pretend I'm there watching, right? So and I'm talking about yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I'll go back to old school, right? Because that's how we were raised. Just show respect to your elders,
Mhm.
and he seems to he does that, right. Always have teachers and tell me that, so that's one thing that I'm proud of, and I want him to keep on working on, right? Because that goes a long way, especially as becoming a adolescent, late teens, early 20s, that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, and just like I said, his heart, right? So he's already shown a very caring heart for people. So I love it.
Man,
Yeah.
that is those are two things that I just think you can't go wrong with. Like,
Mhm.
because I mean, that was tell you what, I know my mom's gonna watch this interview and she's gonna laugh when I say this, but I let somebody tell her that I acted a certain way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it would not be a good day for me.
Oh no. I agree with her 100% because
Yeah,
they get that speech too, right?
yeah.
So it's like yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But like you said, and like you said though, it really, I noticed that it carried on into my adulthood.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, it taught me that respect that you have for your elders at a young age. It matures you faster.
Hmm.
And so that when you reach adulthood, like, I don't know, for me, I just felt like, I mean, because and not to, I don't want to speak too much on myself. However, I found myself in a lot of environments, whether it be like work or whatever the case may be, military, where I was the youngest in a group of older people.
Right,
And
right.
that's really where I felt the most comfortable because of the
Hmm.
respect that I had for older people. And part of me knew that I was gaining wisdom at a younger age that would
Hmm.
benefit me later on down the line.
Absolutely, man.
And so I think
Absolutely.
that's great that you're
Yeah.
teaching him that, because he'll feel comfortable. Because a lot of young people like myself, it's
Hmm.
hard for us to receive instruction and wisdom from older people because we're like,
Yes, it
oh, you're
is.
not our age right now and stuff like,
Yep,
you know what I
yep.
mean?
No,
But I think
you're absolutely right.
yeah, I think that's a powerful thing. And then obviously kindness, like that's in the world that we live in, like that just speaks volumes. If you're just
Hmm.
somebody who has a kind heart, like I've met your son personally, and I know I was talking the first time I met him, I was just talking about his smile. Like, he's just constantly smiling. And
Yeah.
that's something into adulthood. Like, I'm even telling myself to work on, smile,
Yeah.
smile. So
Hmm.
no, I think that's amazing. I think that's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay. And so let me ask you, what are you most proud of about your youngest, right? Your baby. And what is your favorite hobby to enjoy with her?
Let's start off. So let's start off with hobbies, right?
Okay.
She's very, I mean, she's super creative and artistic. She can she's oh man, it's hard to explain. You can give her a piece of paper and some scissors, and she'll make you a full replica dollhouse. She's I'm talking about. So for example, for Christmas, right? So I'm gonna age myself here. So when I was a kid, it was like He-Man, right? So
Okay.
we're at Target the other day, and she was with us. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome, because they had like the Skeletor and He-Man and Battle Cat, right?
Mhm.
So for Christmas, she's she makes these little clay replicas of the purple whatever the Skeletor's Battle Cat was, but it looked just like the Battle Cat was the purple one, and then she made me one of Skeletor and of He-Man, and even of Battle Cat himself. I'm like, dude, it was freaking awesome. I knew what they were, just looking at them. She was so artistic, and she's just I mean, it's creative. It's a joy watching her, especially in her zone, doing all these things.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's a lot of our, the stuff that we do together is, she'll want to play dolls. That's her kind of what we've done in the past. I've got a feeling that's going to change her soon. With her getting into softball, hopefully. But
Okay.
yeah, so it's been just playing with her dolls and going by her rules of how she wants to play. But yeah,
I love it. I love it. I
it's
love
great.
the humility as a father. You're like, hey, that's my baby girl. I'll play with dolls and I'll
Oh,
play with their
yeah,
rules.
man. There's no shame there, man.
Yes,
She
yes,
wants
I
to.
love that.
Yeah, and another one she likes. So I like to give me and my wife, which is just like spa days. Where
Okay.
I don't know if we should trust her or not, but she'll go make her own facial cream, whatever it is, from her own whatever she puts in there.
Yeah.
I think I had an allergic reaction one time, but anyways, it's fun just having her do her thing. She'll set the tone, music, lights. It's awesome.
Man,
For being such a young age and having that creative mind, I love it, dude. It's a change of pace for me.
man, well, that's a blessing. So it sounds like what you're most proud of is her creative, the creative
Yes,
space
yeah,
that she has.
yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I forgot to answer that part, but
Yeah.
yes, what I'm most proud of her is her overcoming her obstacles, right? That she's had at it, her just in school, right? She faces them and she's
Mm.
not backing up, especially with these young kids that they went through a year and a half, 2 years of Zoom classes, right? So she the kids learn how to work Zoom probably better than you and I do now, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just overcoming all these little things that they overcame since the COVID hit. That's what I'm most proud of. They really got pushed. They got pushed physically and mentally, and the kids hit it, head on and overcame it.
Man, that's and I'm glad you brought that up because that brought a lot of relevance, I think, for a lot of parents that are going to watch this too. Because maybe a lot of parents that are going to watch this don't even maybe they don't realize like, hey, I'm actually proud of my kid for that too. Like I didn't even realize, but yeah, they overcame a lot of this, the COVID and the Zoom class. You know what I mean? So I think
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
that'll shed a lot of light in other homes and other households on parents towards their kids. Like, hey, and maybe they'll go tell them like, hey, just want to let you know I'm proud of you for
Yep.
getting through the whole COVID classes and the Zoom classes and all. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes.
I thought that was
I mean,
great that you brought that
eh,
up.
and it's for that's something for us to be proud of all our kids for doing that because I mean they were tested. They were put to the test, and like I said, the majority of them hit it straight on. When they could, some had troubles. Because it wasn't their environment. It was hard for them to adapt.
Mhm.
But they still fought. They still tried to get it done.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, it's a year and a half of just straight remote learning is tough.
Yeah. I
And
can't.
it not just the schoolwork, but mentally, not seeing your classmates or being able to just play with classmates, talk. That was gone, so it made it tough for them.
Yeah, that's definitely I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even yeah. But like you said, they persevered.
Yes, they
Um
did. Yes,
and
they
so
did.
that's awesome. Oh man. All right, golden question. You ready?
Bring it on, man.
All right. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? And what would your superhero name be?
Man, that is a tough one, man. Because I don't know. That's a tough one. I want to be able to like to. I don't want to be the crazy guy, but like to hear kind of thoughts, right? Not every thought, but like if you see somebody hurting, right, and you may not knowing how they feel, you may say something that triggers them, you
Mhm.
know, and you don't know, you can't hear it, but being able to know that ahead of time, your interaction with somebody could it could change their day, change their life. Like you mentioned before, a smile goes a long way, right? You just smile and wave at somebody, it can change their day, their whole outlook of the day, right? You having some idea of what somebody's going through, especially early morning, maybe had, a bad night, bad day, bad week. Smile, high five, handshake, hug, whatever it is, could change their day and make it positive, right? So
Okay.
like I said, I don't want to be, super like crazy. I just want to hear people's thoughts, but
Nah, yeah,
something along those lines,
I like
you
you
know.
want to turn it on whenever you need to.
I mean, if something like that. I mean, I don't know how superpowers work, man, but you know what I mean, right?
Well, I guess the word that kind of came to mind whenever you brought that up, because
Mhm.
like you said, you want to hear people's thoughts because you want to know if if they're hurting, if they're going through something, because
Yeah,
you want to know
yeah,
how to maybe approach them or how to interact with
right.
them. And
Yeah,
so what the word that came to my mind is like you want to the word that came to my mind is understanding.
yeah.
So like,
That
and I'm not saying that that's your superpower or nothing like that. I'm just saying
would,
that was
right,
the word that just immediately came to my mind.
but that fits very very well with that. It's
Yeah.
a that moment in time when he's face to face, that person understand what's happening. You know, like I said, he can change their outlook on the rest of the day, rest of the week, whatever it is, man.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
what we talked about earlier, you never know what somebody's battling with. You never
exactly,
know. So like
exactly.
what you see on the outside, you know, uh, you don't know what's underneath the surface. And so, but if you have the ability to understand prior to, then you can approach that person or
Hey,
approach that situation
yeah, man.
differently.
Yes, and I've seen it happen, by
Yeah.
circumstance where, you know, you say something to somebody, it just touches them, and they cry, give you a hug, whatever it is. Experience that, been around it, and it's an awesome experience to have and to see. So being able to have a little more of that would make the world a lot better place, I bet. You know.
Man, well, I'll tell you what, that right there, okay, and like all jokes aside, like that right there is something that like I I really respect. And then for me personally, I try to live my life by. So the fact that you said that and that's something that's important to you, like that, like I said, like I'm trying to direct my life onto that path of what you just said is being able to impact somebody in that way, right?
Mhm.
And so I don't know if you thought of a superhero name, but me personally, I would just go with Adam Sanchez after you say that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I mean that's probably good. I was thinking of Mr. Know It All or something like
Mr.
that.
Know It All.
I
Okay,
don't
I
know,
like
man.
that too.
I
I
don't
like
know.
that too. Man, that's man. Well, this was powerful, Adam. And first off, I want to, on behalf of myself and Maddie, who's taking care of Kylan while we're doing this, we appreciate you being here. Appreciate your time tonight, and we just appreciate all that you do, all that you have done, and all that you will do going forward. And we're just excited to be on the journey with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, those of you guys who don't know, we are starting a nonprofit. Well, we have started a nonprofit. We're in the administrative phase of getting everything squared away. Adam's going to be a big part of what we're doing, and so at the end of the day, we just want to be surrounded by great people who want to make a great impact. And so I think that it was no accident that we were brought to Taylor.
Right.
That is no
Absolutely.
accident that we are one door down from y'all, two doors
Yep.
down from y'all. So yeah, thank you so much for your
Yeah,
time
man.
tonight.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity, man. It's been my pleasure, dude. And like I said, it's been no accident that we met. Like I told you, I'm always learning, and
Yeah.
just seeing you, the things that you said, it's already made an impact on me, on still wanting to become a better person, right? So I thank you for that.
Man, amen,
Yeah.
Adam. I'm excited, and I'm just excited to learn from you going forward, man. And
Same, man.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, we will do more interviews going forward, you guys. But hey, Mr. Adam Sanchez, for you guys, we hope that this impacts at least one
Yep.
person out there. We know that it will. You guys feel free to go follow us on Instagram at re.fatherhood. I always have to think about that one because Maddie runs all that stuff. So, but yes, at re.fatherhood. Last thing for everybody watching, Mr. Adam Sanchez has a very inspiring story. And I asked him beforehand if I could share this with you guys. But he has a very inspiring story that about the adversity that he experienced in his childhood. And I think that anybody that is able to go watch that and and then you go back to this and see how much he's changed and what he's grown into, I think that it can be life-changing and impactful for anybody. So the link to Adam's story will be posted in the comments of this YouTube video. So please go watch it, go be inspired. And, you know, you just give him a shout out in the comments because he's a great guy and he's been through stuff that most people haven't, but he's grown into something that that a lot of people aspire to be. So with that being said, Adam, again, thank you. And we'll let you go ahead and enjoy your family for the rest of the night.
Sounds good, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And one more thing, go Bears.
Go Bears, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Right on, man. Well, you have a good night, man.
As always, thanks for being here, guys.
Yes, sir. All right.
Bye.